my goal is to build relational equity as we're doing this across the country. And if I'm out making promises, I have to be confident that my people back home can keep those promises. And the only way I'm going to be confident is if we're creating a culture that, is with accountability and with ownership and stewardship. And it's wild, man, that people are still people, no matter whether they're, tapping on a keyboard or counting beans or swinging hammers or, sewing dresses. And
welcome back to the Profit First REI podcast, where we want to help you make, spend, and keep the money where you can put it in your pocket. So we have a special guest today who I think can help you with basically all three of those things, like where you're going to make more money, you're going to spend on what you really need to spend, and then at the end of the day, I want you to be able to keep the money. So Bobby, thanks for being on the show today.
David, thank you for having me, man. Honored to be here, brother.
Bobby's probably one of the most energetic people I've met out at a lot of these events too. So he brings the energy and just another level there. I can tell you really like what you do. It seems like you solve quite a big problem in the real estate investing space. And I know sometimes I'll ask people their background. I wanted to just get to the meat. What do you do with Offerpad on the renovation side? Because I think it's so interesting that there's this whole division just to get the renovation when so many people are out there killing themselves on their own flips and spending the money, doing over budget, all the things. And I just love to know, okay, what is this all about? Because then I'm going to have a million other questions from there.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, man. So, it started off like this. We're a publicly traded iBuyer, right? So we buy thousands of our own homes. My teams around the country, we renovate those homes and then we resell them. In end of 20 or beginning of 23, when the rate situation changed, at one time we were doing 1,200 flips a month of our own.
Wow.
1,200 renovations. We did that for years. It was insane. We were at that time in 20 states. My team was exponentially bigger than they are today. And my CEO came to me and he's like, hey, you've built this machine, this renovation machine. You got all this wisdom, nearly a decade of experience, 40-something thousand flips under our belt, right? We need to offer your services to other investors out there. Leverage you basically as a turnkey renovation project management solution for private investors. So we since then, it's been a wild ride, David. We've been able to, for me, full disclosure, I keep my teams busy, I keep my people employed. We're leveraging, the 60 to 70 million we spend a year on materials and supplies, and we're able to get an institutional level renovation service to a private brand new fix and flipper or a mid-size REIT or a big REO firm and everything in between. And it's been fun, man. And I've made so many new friends in the last couple of years that we've been able to do this because we've been able to not only drastically affect their ROI, but I think we've given them the highest rate of return on their effort, their ROE. You know what I mean? Where instead of them having to go out and chase down the painter and make sure the flooring showed up and why didn't the guy not call up? The private investors have been able to work on sourcing their deals or selling their deals, and we partner. They get to use, my W-2 employees as their W-2 employees. And it's been fun, man. I was just telling you, I was just in Columbus and Cincinnati this week. We have some amazing clients up there, and I had an opportunity to speak with Tommy Har's group on Monday night. About 25, 30 investors were there. It was like a free-for-all, pick my brain about project management, and let's go. Very next morning, I'm walking houses with a couple of their guys. Hey, can you renovate this house for me? And it's beautiful, man. I love it.
That's very cool. So, okay, that was one of my questions. So you go to a small town or something, or wherever USA, and you're speaking to a group. And so you just walk some properties with them they're active, sounds like fix and flippers. And so you'll work with individual investors like that and just do their projects for them. So
it's funny, man. I've got some clients that I might do 2 or 3 flips a year with.
Okay.
Right. And I've got a client right now that I do 120 projects a month with, you know what I mean? And so, and everywhere in between. And quite frankly, I enjoy it. Think about it like this. I'm leveraging my employees' capacity. So if in Atlanta, I'm staffed to do 100 renovations a month, right? Well, we only bought 70 homes this month, or we only bought 30 homes this month, right? In Atlanta, now, I can say yes to all sorts of different investors in the greater city of Atlanta and just leverage that capacity instead of them having to go hire a project manager and manage the flow, the ups and the ebbs and the flows of like volume, and is that profitable for them? Like what's like that overhead cost? Like now, hey, when they buy one, they can just I tell people we're like that sports car that you never want to own, just want to rent on the weekends. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you won't have to change the oil or the tires, and we're built for speed. And it's been fun, man.
I have to ask,
Go for it.
your background before, like, did you come from like this is obviously a publicly traded company, so this is like corporate. So like you built the systems, the processes. I'm wondering about the people side of it.
Yeah.
Like you've been around probably the mom and pop investors enough now where it's like you understand the pain of
Sure.
contractors not showing up, project
Oh,
managers,
yeah.
the GCs,
That's
whatever
true.
it might be. So how have you built such an insanely large network? And it sounds like too, because like you've been a part of the groups I'm a part of for years, and like you do a good job, and like you have a good reputation in these groups as well too. Like how do you maintain quality with the quantity that you're doing?
Yeah. So I think first off, like volume is the loudest language in this space.
That's true.
For
Yeah.
an independent contractor to know where his next job is coming from and know that
Yep.
he's got a pipeline, he doesn't have, they don't have biz dev people. They don't have a ton of money to spend on marketing. So
Yeah.
they want to know that if they go fishing in this pond, they're going to catch a fish every time. And then it's a matter of how much does that cost to get that fish in, right? So for me, we created relationship-based transactions with our trades around. Like, hey, in Florida, I've found the best roofer who can do this at volume. He's going to give me a great price, like a wholesale-based price,
Yeah.
and he's going to get 80% of my roofs in the whole state of Florida. And he's going to know, like, man, what I'm getting is good value. I'm getting good customer service from him. What he's getting is a pipeline where he's not having to go chase, and it works great. So we do that across all the trades around the country. It's been wild though. Like, I've kind of got two clients, if you will. Like one client are all my trade partners where I have to go evangelize our gospel, and they get to know like what we do, how they make money from us, how they say like what our why is. Like, hey, we're not the yellers and the screamers, but we will have very blunt accountability conversations. We're going to be boots on the whole 9 yards, right?
Yeah.
We pay our people ridiculously fast, right? If I'm going to ask them to partner with me, like my plumbers are going to get paid fast. My flooring people are going to get paid fast. Because if I'm asking them to do it cheap and I hold payments for 60, 90 days, like something's going to give. And
Something's going to break.
Yeah. Right. So we kind of went through that minefield of like what moves the needle for us best and what we need from them. And then in the same way, like my job is go to make sure I've got volume. Like if I'm making these promises to my trades, I've got to make sure I have volume. So whether that's the Offerpad owned homes or the client homes that we renovate on behalf of, and because our systems and our processes and really, David, our people are, I mean, full of integrity. Like if we step in it, we're going to own it, right?
Yeah.
We talk about ownership and give a shit, or stewardship if you don't like the 4-letter word. You know what I mean? Like those are two hugely important like markers in our culture at Offerpad, and because we're going to find whatever it takes to get it done right and make sure we're doing it with utmost integrity. Like that allows us. Like I'm proud of the relationships we've been able to make. I'm proud that like I know like one of my electricians I helped put his daughter through college, and I know my flooring guys I've helped them move to all other states and expand their business, and that to me, like I want to watch them win too. And if they're winning and we're winning, we can take that same approach to our clients. And now they're just borrowing a well-oiled machine for when they need it.
I love that. And it sounds like you've taken something that can be very corporate and you've made it very personal, because it's like you are the iBuyer, you are the, $1 billion whatever, or hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever it is. And it's like, now you're talking the language of the entrepreneur, like the core values and hiring the right people and having those relationships. Now, has that always been a focus of Offerpad, or is that like something that you've spearheaded, or like, because, usually it doesn't come across like that with, with the bigger companies that they care about it as much. It seems like.
Yeah. I mean, we have a pretty exceptional leader, our CEO. I mean, he's an awesome guy, Brian Bear. Like I've been working for him for a decade.
Awesome.
Now, and massive amount of respect for him. And one of the things that I'm grateful for, like, is he allowed me, like, I proved myself enough as a leader to where he trusts me to run my division. Right.
That's
And
nice.
so like our leaders, we'll do like a yearly summit with our leaders, and we're nailing home leadership development. Like right now, all of my guys are going through a book together.
Yeah.
The Need to Lead by David Burke. And we're challenging each other on it. We've got daily quotes. Sometimes the guys are passing back and forth. And the goal is like, how do I build them up as men and women? Because if I elevate their game as a leader, like via proxy, like my business is going to be elevated. Now, there's also the risk that like, hey, they might get too elevated and somebody wants to steal them. That's okay. Like that has happened. And I kind of take that more as like a badge of honor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I left them better than I found them. But that our team, like there's a huge amount of emphasis from my leadership group about accountability, about ownership, about stewardship. And we harp on it every day. We say, and they will probably roll their eyes, but like, we always talk about what gets celebrated gets repeated, right? And so like we want to celebrate the right things so that the behaviors follow. And then we always talk about leave everything better than you found it. Whether that's an email, whether that's a scope of work, whether that's a home, whether that's a tough conversation. You know, I was just on a call with one of my directors yesterday. We had an escalation with a client in Texas where, you know, he bought a home with some permitting issues, and it's a really tricky situation we're trying to help him through. And one of my guys dropped the ball on communication. He's like, well, man, I didn't have good news. And I was like, no news is worse than bad news. So let's have a communication conversation. I need you to go own this. I need you to make it right. And let's go figure it out. And I would much rather have those, you know, a reputation for being that kind of leader or contractor or service provider, as opposed to like, well, sorry, we can't help you anymore and just close the door and leave. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah.
I love this, and I love what you've built inside of Offerpad. It sounds like you've really spearheaded this renovation piece, and you can tell the care and that you really want to help people. I did want to ask, when does it not make sense for someone to use the renovation side or is there like a box that, or like, I just would love to know.
Here's what we're really good at. We're at that median sales price and below, maybe slightly above and below. That is our wheelhouse. We're built
Not like luxury homes.
Yeah, we can onesie twosies those in not every market, in like certain markets, because I don't want to give you a bad yes. You know, I've given a few bad yeses in my life, and they are always more drama and they're more stressful, and I'd like to not repeat those mistakes.
Right.
Because technically, depending on the project, we could do that. But certain luxury flips are completely different. You know, the level of craftsmanship or finished work type of material, it's a different ballgame, especially if you're working with an interior designer, like we're probably going to pass, you know what I mean? One, like, your cost of your business is going to be extremely high, and like it's and from a operational standpoint, it just gets muddied. Another reason that's probably not good to use this, like if you're wanting an addition built on your investment house, like that's not us. And then we also don't do any retail renovation. So I can't go work for David Richter's personal house. You know what I mean? But I can work, we only work for investors and companies. But what's really good, you know, we've got clients that are doing like the Section 8 voucher rentals all the way up to like the higher end, nicer institutional, you know, $600,000-$700,000, you know, renovations and flips and everywhere in between. Like that's what we're really, really good at.
What about the skill set of the investor? What if they're newer versus it's obviously seasoned you can work with, but what if they're just getting in, you know, you meet them at an event like you were just at Tommy Haar's, and it's like, hey, this guy's in the middle of his first flip, but he wants this second flip, you know, like, is that something that you would do it? Okay.
I actually prefer that because there's a couple things that like, the coach in me and the former pastor, I was a pastor for 15 years in a previous life. And like, that part of me, like I want to save them from making some of the dumb decisions and the hard lessons that I learned. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I learned a lot of these decisions, you know, at an institutional level. That's a little bit more forgiving than a private investor making the same mistakes. And so if we can help, like, I understand that, you know, sometimes new guys are a little bit more hands-on, and like, we're going to help share some wisdom with them. And it's a lot easier. I mean, it makes it so much more easy for them. And now I get it. For me, that's a little bit more hand holding. But if it's in a market where I've got capacity, I'm willing to do that.
Okay. So then what about, since this is the Profit First ROI podcast, I have to ask margin.
Sure.
Like, what about margin? Like, that's where I feel a lot of people go through this process and on the fix and flip. And if they are on the first two, maybe they don't know how to budget it. Like, do you walk them through if this is good for them to go? And like, I don't know. Your process, I guess, to know, okay, yes, I want to work with this person because the deal is good. Or will you just say, like, we'll finish the flip for you and what you make on the back end is what you make on the back. I'm just very curious on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we are a service provider for renovation services. So we're not necessarily, we're not going to give them, I'm not a licensed agent. I'm a licensed general contractor. So I'm not going to give them the real estate acquisition or disposition authority. What I can give them is 10 years, well, longer than that. Cause I used to work for Invitation Homes here in Florida, help run their Tampa branch. Managed about 7,900 doors on the rehab, turn and maintenance side. Before this, what I can give them is almost 15 years of wisdom. And hey, if it was our house, this is how we would approach it. This is how like our rental clients would approach that have been doing this forever. And the way we submit a scope to them and help them, like we refuse to do the lump sums. Like, hey, new kitchen, 10 grand. What the heck does that mean, David? You know what I mean? It means something different to and there's zero accountability. And honestly, that's how we've seen so many people get burnt or chewed up and spit out. So we do room by room, itemized, unit measure costs. You're going to see everything. And when we submit a scope of work, I call it fully baked, right? Yeah. It's going to have labor, material, margin, and taxes on every line item. And so we've already pre-negotiated rates. So when, say we're doing a house for you and we're doing your kitchen and man, you need to find a way to shave some money off of this thing. Well, hey, how about this? Instead of replacing the cabinets, let's X that out. You know exactly how much you took there. We'll just paint the cabinets or refinish them or what, and now you're seeing real time where your money's going towards that. That's going to help you understand, does that fit with our ARV we're trying to hit? Does that get us to the ROI we're trying to go through? And we try to approach it as a partnership in the sense, like, I'm not trying to get one and done. Like if this is your second flip, I want you
usually have for all the next 100 flips or whatever.
Yeah, I want you to have, and I want you to have confidence that you can do it, because that's where I think a lot of investors, I don't know, where they hit the ejection button is like they stub their toe too many times. They're second guessing themselves, or they don't have partners, whether it's title or whether it's on the financial management side, taxes, renovation, that they have confidence in, so that erodes their confidence. And if I can, like, here's my whole why, I'll just give it to you. Like this, I preach this stuff. Like my why is like, I want you, the investor, to see us as the renovation solution that you can have confidence in. And so like, if you are confident that I can carry your renovation with stewardship, man, then that's going to make you more confident to go source your next 20 deals and make, and so that's how we're trying to approach it.
All right. I have to pause the episode real quick. If you're a real estate investor who's tired of wondering where your money is going or why you're closing deals but still feeling broke, you need to talk to Simple CFO. Simple CFO is Profit First certified and fully endorsed by Mike Michalowicz, the creator of Profit First himself. Our team specializes in helping real estate investors finally get control of their cash flow so you keep more money, you pay yourself consistently, and build a business that doesn't run on chaos. We'll help you implement the Profit First system the right way, set up the financial processes you've been missing, and give you a dedicated fractional CFO who actually understands investing and keeping track of your numbers on flips, wholesales, rentals, private lending, all of it. So if you want predictable profit instead of living deal to deal, head over to simplecfo.com and book your financial clarity call today. That's simplecfo.com. Stop living in confusion and start keeping the money you work so hard to earn. Now, back to the episode. Okay, now I love that. And I love where you've really taken this and brought it to the individual investor. And now they can have this opportunity where it's, and it sounds like what you said, that you are a service provider. So they're just paying for the renovation and everything that you're doing on the renovation side. And it's not like an equity type thing where you come in and it's like you're getting part of equity in the deal. Or do you ever do that? Or
no.
It's more of just I'm the service provider, but you're the partner on the renovation, making sure that it gets across the finish line and they're happy with it.
Yeah. And what's really cool too is our scope of work, it includes our W-2 project manager will be boots on the ground multiple times a week in your house. And then there'll be a renovation director, that project manager's boss, who's going to have directorial oversight. He's keeping his PM to task. And then he or she are going to come in and they're going to walk the house alongside of it.
So I'm sure you've seen this in all the masterminds you're part of. Everyone has their own CRM. So it's like, how do you work with people and their different systems and everything that they are using to track internally? Do they have to adapt to what you're using, or do you have like a set here's how we upload pictures, here's how you view them, or like, I'm just wondering what systems you use.
So typically we utilize a program called CompanyCam. And so that's one of those things that like a lot of the folks that we use, we can't recommend it higher enough. It's an incredible opportunity to share pictures. We have our own proprietary software. We built it ourselves. So like our clients don't have access to it, but what it does is it gives you a detailed scope of work in an Excel or in a PDF, and that's submitted right over. And then you as the client, whatever you do with it, you do with it. And then we submit pictures and we'll give updates.
So you've got your own systems and stuff. So it's not like that you have to adapt to anyone's, because I was like, that sounds like a logistical nightmare. But you're just, okay, here's what you get as part of the renovations. We're going to send you the pictures through this. We're going to send you the scope of work. We're going to send you the updates, however, through this, through your,
okay. Honestly, like the most important thing you get is you get a W-2 project manager's phone number. You know what I mean? Who's going to be walking that job for you. Yeah. And like, I typically, like when I'm meeting with new investors, I'm going to share our services. We're going to have the conversation, and then but I'm not the local guy doing it. So I'm going to make the warm handoff to their director, who, like, if it's here in Florida where I live, it would be Brandon. He runs state of Florida for me. He's got project managers all over the state that are W-2. And so I want you, David, to know Brandon. So if you have an escalation or a new project or whatever, like, you've got one point of contact that you need. And then if you're in Jacksonville, he's going to give you Chris's phone number. If you're in St. Petersburg, he's going to give you Dylan's phone number, and you're going to have that. And now all of a sudden, you don't have to be two places one time. It's pretty cool. We have a client of ours. They are a single family rental company, a couple thousand doors. They're out of Dallas, and he doesn't have a single employee in the 6 states that he operates in, but he has the phone numbers for every one of my project managers. And we partner in such a way that he almost feels like they're his employees, like kind of, temporary employees. And I'm not worried about that. Like, absolutely, you get to have access to my people. And then we just keep swinging hammers for them, 10 or 12 times a month. And it works out great.
Yeah, especially. And sounds like you're helping people, whether they want to scale or whether they want to just have a better process in place, or like, especially if it's someone that's coming into this world, the real estate world, and they haven't done something. And this sounds like an incredible opportunity to make sure that, because I'm sure you've heard those horror stories or been a part of those horror stories, like when people are first getting off the ground and then they're like, overspend, don't know what they're doing, get taken for a ride by the contractor. This sounds like a much safer way to get into it as well too, or to scale, especially if they're in that 1 to 10 range and they want to go to that next level of like, doing 10 plus a year, even not just a month, but a year. And they want to scale up. So this is awesome. I want to ask you a personal question, Bob. If you're okay with this, if you're not, we'll just edit it out. But you had mentioned you were a pastor before. I just wondered what brought you from the pastorhood to real estate investing, and like, I don't know, do you have a story there or a journey?
Yeah, I do. Like, it's, so I was a church planter, was a music pastor, like, knew that's what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Went to Bible college in Palm Beach, Florida. Loved it. And had been in Tampa the rest of my whole life. Was going through a divorce and stepped down from being a full-time minister. I didn't want to, put my church through any drama. One of the guys who is a good friend of mine went to my church. He was the president of Invitation Homes Florida. We were Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa, Orlando. And he's like, hey, I need a leader. Their Invitation was only maybe a year and a half old at that time. So they're still building the ship mid-flight. And he's like, I need a leader. Would you come help me manage vendors and escalations? And so I had always been handy. I literally helped build churches. And I used to, when I was in a band trying to be a rock star back in the day, it was a Christian rock band. We ended up working for like a Habitat for Humanity type of
Yeah.
organization we were building and
Awesome.
restoring. So I've always been decently handy, and but people and leading people it has been, I don't know if you want to call it a gift or like I've always just
It's
been a
baked
natural.
into, yeah, who you are. It sounds like you work well with people, the
Yeah.
relationships, and this is a natural progression where now you've got lots of relationships all over the country and
Yeah.
continue to make them. And it sounds like a couple years ago when you talked with the CEO, he gave you the opportunity to make it even more individualized of like, now you're going to a small group like, Tommy Hars that's putting together a good group of investors and like, how can we help you? What can we
Yeah.
do? It sounds like that's been your heart all this time.
Yeah, well, because I think I use a lot of that, the leadership stuff that, mentors and pastors and books and all that stuff that put
Yeah.
into me. I use that more than the calculations I had to memorize for my GC tests. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
I use, and my goal is to build relational equity
Yeah.
as we're doing this across the country. And if I'm out making promises, I have to be confident that my people back home can keep those promises. And the only way I'm going to be confident is if we're creating a culture that, is with accountability and with ownership and stewardship. And it's wild, man, that people are still people, no matter whether they're, tapping on a keyboard or counting beans or
Yeah.
swinging hammers or, sewing dresses. And, um, it's wild. So I get an opportunity to go work for Invitation Homes and felt like a fish out of water. You know what I mean? But like, okay, I figured out where we were broken and where we needed to fix. And within 2 years, I helped lead, our maintenance division there. Like I said, 7,900 doors we were managing at the time. We were like one of the worst performing ones. And I was happy. I was proud because within a year, we were top 5 performing in the
Nice.
country. And it's not because I have some secret sauce or secret weapon. It was like, we just started creating a different culture
Yeah.
and of accountability and expectation and setting those expectations and holding people accountable again. Right. And it was wild. And then from there, I had an opportunity to go lead um, Offerpad. I did a brief stint where there was a general contractor in Tampa that I ended up having to dismiss from Invitation Homes. And
Mm.
they came back to me and said, "Hey, Mr. Bobby, will you help fix us?" And so I went and left Invitation to go work for the actual GC firm and learned a lot on that side too. And then Offerpad asked me to help start Offerpad. And the rest has been history, and it's been beautiful, man. I'm so
Yeah.
proud. Like one of the things, David, I'm the most proud of is like, I just saw a couple of my guys just this month hit their 7-year mark with me. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Is
wow.
in leadership.
Yeah.
And, I get to be in Atlanta next week with my team there. And some of those guys have been with me 5 plus, 6 plus years. And you make friends and relationships, and, I care for my people. And, I like I want them to thrive too, because if they're thriving, then the team will thrive. And if the team's thriving, then the clients are going to thrive. And if the client's thriving, then the company's going to thrive. And so
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense to me to do it.
No, that's awesome. And I love that progression. And this has been a great conversation. I love what you're doing in this space. So if someone wanted to reach out, how would they get
Yeah.
a hold of you and get this process started?
Yeah. They can go to offerpad.com/renovate. There's going to be a quick little form right there. Fill it out. We'll put something up. We'll put 20, 30 minutes on the books. And it could be anybody. Like, let's find out if we're the right fit, if we're in the right area. Like I said, we're 20 plus markets, 15 states. I live here in the greater Tampa Bay area, but I'm on an airplane every week, it seems like.
Yeah.
So I know there'll be an opportunity for us to meet in person, and we'll grab 20 minutes, we'll figure it out, and then we'll get the ball rolling.
Cool. Very cool. So that's offerpad.com/renovate. So if you're just wondering, I would just go there and at least check it out. And it sounds like, Bobby, that they could go there whether they're doing one deal or 1,000
Yeah,
deals a
sure.
year. It's
Absolutely.
just where are they in that process and do they need that help? And if they want to expand, it's like there's so many opportunities that I could see for this, just depending on what that investor wants to do and where they want to take their company. So I've enjoyed this because, Bobby, I've been like, okay, give me the brass tacks. Like now we got this conversation. I got to dig in a little bit deeper this
Yeah.
because I've seen you on stage and we passed,
Yeah.
like ships in the night some places, but getting to interview you, this has been awesome because it sounds like you've also brought humanity as well to like where corporations can have more of that corporate face and you're bringing more of that personal, that reputation, that relationship, and that you really want to help people. And you've got that heart for people, which has been amazing. So is there any last wisdom that you have here for the people listening, either on the renovation side or
Yeah.
just anything,
Yeah. I'll
leadership
tell you,
or whatnot?
I'll tell you, it's a cool story that I'm pretty proud of. So one of my clients in St. Louis, he would do Section 8 voucher-based rentals, and there are parts of St. Louis that are not fun to renovate in. I mean, they're pretty scary areas, and we do a lot in those areas, and we created a relationship. We did 30 or 40 for him in his first year with us, and he went and raised some money to try to take this Section 8 voucher-based rental and take it scattered site, multi-state. And he raised that money based on our partnership, right? Knowing that, like, hey, I will go buy homes wherever Offerpad Renovate is, right?
Yeah.
Instead of trying to renovate the woods. So he raises his money. Like, I'm the most proud. Like, we're swinging hammers from today in 11 markets, 7 states, and he didn't have to go hire a single other employee to do that.
Yeah.
And like,
That's awesome.
He had a small team already. And instead of, like, you would think, hey, we expanded to 7 states. How many more people do we have for overhead wise? And I'm sure the CFO mind and you is going like, well, what is that going to cost? And how's that going to reduce our, but like the opportunity to scale even to other markets. I mean, I'm sure some of your clients will see deals come across like, man, Minneapolis, I'd love to do that. I don't know anybody there. Or, hey, Dallas, I would love to do that. Or Charlotte. And now, like, I feel like we give folks the opportunity to say yes to a good deal, because the biggest question mark is like, one, I don't know anybody in Charlotte. I don't know anybody in Vegas. How am I going to do this? And 2, I can't drive and fly up there. But if you have somebody like us, like, I'm proud to solve that solution for folks. And it gives them more of an opportunity to say yes. And when you're looking at the bottom line of their portfolio or their net worth or the business that they're growing, like, how can they scale? I mean, I ask this every day, and my bosses ask me this every day. How can we scale without having to incur more overhead? Right. I think this is a pretty cool solution, quite frankly.
Yeah. It is. No, I love that. So that's offerpad.com/renovate. Bobby, thanks for being a part of this today. And if you're listening to this and you're like, hey, I want to scale, I would definitely check them out. Then if you're going to make more money, you need to make sure you have a process to keep it, making sure that you know where your dollars are going. So you could go to simplecfo.com as well if you need help on that side. If you're just a financial mess and you don't want to look at anything, we'll help you there. We'll make sure you get out of that mess. So go to simplecfo.com. But Bobby, thank you again for being a part of this today. And you're a great guest. And honestly, I love getting to know more about Offerpad and really the renovation side. So I really enjoyed our conversation. And if you're listening to this as a listener and you're tuning in, make sure you make profit a habit in your business. Thanks again, Bobby.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it, man.
That's it for today's show. Be sure to subscribe, review, and share this episode. If you're serious about financial systems and keeping more of your profit, visit simplecfo.com to take your free discovery call today.